Your Highness, if a complete stranger who had no idea who you were or what you were came up to you and said, "What do you do for a living?" what would be your reply?
I would say that my role is I'm the Imam, the hereditary Imam of a Shia Muslim community, an international Shia Muslim community.
And that your influence in the world is?
I'm responsible for guiding the interpretation of the faith for these Mali Muslims and advising them on issues of everyday life that they bring to me or that the Imamate as an institution has to decide upon.
May we for a moment go back in time to your boyhood in Kenya? What memories do you have of those days?
Well, I was of course very young and it was during the war, but I remember the beauty of Kenya as a country. I remember Nairobi as being a town rather than a city, with all that represented in terms of the sort of things that amuse a child, the possibility of seeing wildlife over the garden wall and this sort of thing. Some of my early education, which was, to say the least, like a lot of children, painful.
Were you a happy child?
Yes, I think so, although obviously during the war I didn't see my parents a great deal.
Was there any thought ever in your mind at that time that one day you might possibly become the Aga Khan?
Absolutely not.
It didn't even cross your mind?
None
for
whatsoever.
a second. How well did you know your grandfather at that time when you were a boy? He played an important part in your young life.
Yes, he did. He probably had one of the most widespread and inquiring intellects of any person I've ever met. And he was a person who, after an hour with him, you were completely drained of all information that you could give him. He asked an enormous number of questions on an enormous number of subjects. And in that sense, this sort of intellectual stimulus which he provoked and which he was the center of was very, very exciting indeed.
But he also gave advice.
Oh yes, and as the head of the family he was fairly clear that when he gave advice it was to be respected.
What do you think are the qualities that you'll look for when it's your turn to appoint your successor?
I think I would hope that the next Imam has a thorough and deep understanding of the faith which he has to represent and